this is NARS. They let us know every day, and it's true. This is NARS. We go right here, right? This is NARS, and if you fight for this, well, that's a crime, because that's like knowing that someone stole this glass. You know I stole the glass, but you come and say, hey, Sebi, I know you stole the glass, but you will share the glass with me. What does it make you? You see? But we talk about religion, right? And we talk about righteousness. We talk about God. We just go back to God now. Who created the herbs? The Bible says that the herbs are for the healing of the nations. Am I right? Yes. Am I making this up? No. So what happened with the preacher when he gets sick? What is he saying about God? Don't give a damn about God, he's saying. I know for a fact he's saying that. You know why? I had a brother just died last year. Many of you in this audience knew my brother. My brother was Pastor Gate in Honduras. I said, but Pastor Gate, the book of Genesis, the book of Ezekiel, the book of Revelation said that the earth is for the healing of the nation and the fruits are for food. And why eat this flesh, this pork? He said, you know, you were always strange. See, I know that. Very few of my friends accept me in their group because I was always strange. But in my strange world, there is consistency and there is logic. And there is love. Most of all, I love to give. It's difficult for me to receive from you. The Usha family that makes up a group of people now that has been healed or been healed. We have a family. We have a family. A family that understands. And they try to give me many things. I can't receive those things sometimes because it's very difficult. But in giving, I like to give. So I said to him, I would like to understand what zone in your head exists that you would negate God for man's position. As you said, I said the medicine that you're taking was made in a laboratory with some inorganic substance and chemicals that does not assimilate. And I explained that very carefully. It's not very difficult to understand, don't worry. My brother was taking substance that was made in a laboratory. When something is made in a laboratory, is it complete? No. It cannot be complete. It was made in a laboratory. It does not have oxygen. Any product that is made in a laboratory does not have oxygen, hydrogen, no, carbon. It's impossible. That substance could only be made by life itself. And if it does not contain the chemistry of life, as they call it, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, it would not become one with you to help you. But you chose that over God, herbs. Well, you're going to die. He said, well, if I die, he said, I'm going to leave you 10 children to take care of. I said, you know, I'm going to take care of them if I have to, and I will. He said, well, that's cool. And he died. And he died in my mother's arms. And my mother said, well, this is the way he was. He died. And he died. So that's why I'm afraid of preachers. They talk about God, but they do something else. And I'm not saying that. Go in the church. Go in any church in America. And you will find out our parents have big ankles. That's right. And the preacher himself had diabetes and gout. In fact, I don't know why gout followed them for some reason. Most preachers suffer with gout. And diabetes. I think it's too much chicken that he's eating. And you know that God did not make that chicken. So don't get frightened. Don't get frightened. Because there's too much to this lecture that needs to be brought out, that we would not have enough time, but I hope that we would share another moment together, that we could hash these things out. I'm not lecturing to you. I bring a message that came from you. I'm not lecturing to you. I'm bringing a message that came from you, that you forgot. But some way, you know, nature always preserves that one little thing to manifest again, to continue that procession, that chronology. I am black. I have, nature will preserve that blackness, whether Sebi wanted or not, because Sebi didn't want to be a healer. Sebi was too nice and quietly smoking his cocaine and snorting it. You know? Yes, he was in Los Angeles. And I didn't healing what? Who? I mean, I want to be John Coltrane. I want a flute and I want a soprano. Couldn't blow a note, but I want to be John Coltrane. I want to be co-trained. I love co-trained. And I tried like my endeavor best, and I even had the opportunity to meet co-trained many, many times. What? I didn't become a musician, but I fought like hell to be a musician. And I fought against being a healer. I put up a good fight, but I lost. Here I am standing in front of you now, talking about biochemistry. Now, in order for us to heal the body, I learned that you have to cleanse the body. And you have to feed the body those minerals that are made up, that makes up the body. That's all. Cleanse the body and feed the body the minerals that it's made up of. Calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, iron, and all the others. And then you'll find that a miracle happened. That's what they tell us, a miracle. Like Mildred Jones. Mildred Jones came to see us just 2 months ago, and she was in a breathing machine for 8 years with a long plastic cord. And she sat down at 12:30, I remember, because Artie was visiting me and said, ha 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 ha, eat that. I said, sit down and be quiet. And I asked the lady, I said, do you swallow? She said, yes, I can swallow. So I gave her a big glass just like this. And many of you here knows what I'm talking about. The product since Mildred Jones has been titled and named the Mostest. You know, like a little boy said the most? But it's so good. He said, it's the Mostest. Well, that's what my son called it, the Mostest. So I named it the Mostest. So I gave this lady some of the Mostest at 12:30. At 12:35, she relaxed. At 12:45, she took the oxygen out of her nose. At 1 o'clock, she was snoring. Am I a voodoo man? Am I a scientist? No, I just took some herbs that came from the same environment that the black man came from. The tropics. Remember, our electrical energy is higher than anyone else on the planet because it's different. That's why we have so much carbon. You see, to make electricity, let me say this, it's very simple. I don't want y'all to think that these things are so impossible because I, who didn't go to school, could see them and work with them as a steam engineer on the ships. I saw these things. To create electricity, all you need is what? Carbon and copper. A copper wheel spinning and carbon rubbing against it. And it creates a resonance that produces electricity. That's all it is. The more copper or the more carbon, the higher the amount of electricity. And look at us. We're nothing but that. So when we use herbs from the temperate region, such as burdock, it does not get enough sunlight. It doesn't have enough energy. So we go to the tropics and get the herbs that are grown in the tropics. That grow in the tropics. And you find that, voila, Mildred Jones was sleeping at 1 o'clock. Miss Yassin Nader from Philadelphia called us Sunday before last because her son is in a coma with epilepsy and he had a tube in his stomach. A coma for 2 years. Gave him the stuff, but when I walked in the door, I saw death. I said, oh no, this boy's dead. But the voice inside said, shut up! I look at my daughter, I said, Wiwa, you think there's life in this boy? She said, But the boy said, shut up, and give the stuff to the woman. Then the woman came out, the woman said, do you think he's gonna live? I lied. I said, yes, he's gonna live. That was not what I was feeling. And she put the stuff in the bag, and the stuff went straight into his stomach. She called 2 days later, he's out and talking. Now we come to AIDS. I didn't know I could cure AIDS. How would I know that? I don't diagnose anyone. I don't have laboratories to break down germs, bacteria, or virus. I don't do that. I just happen to be in Washington giving these people compounds that were curing all leukemia, sickle cell, which is Achilles Stroud, and a young lady said, Zelma Peterson called me and said, Dr. Sebi, I know you have cured many diseases that I could have helped. This is why I wrote an article about you in the Financial Independence magazine. But I learned that my brother has AIDS. But he's at pneumocystis stage. You think it's too late? I said, don't do that. I said, fly to New York and go see Annette. Annette is in the building now with that pink dress, that flower dress over there that you always see. Annette, come forward, please. This is Annette. Annette also cures and any other disease. See, I'm just talking because they're scared to talk to you. You see, I'm a little bit bolder than them, but they know more than I do. So Annette gave her the compound. She goes to Boston that Saturday, gave the boy the stuff. That Sunday, no more sisters was gone. 2 months later, the doctor said he didn't have AIDS, that he was misdiagnosed. But what did we do for him? We cleansed the mucus from his lungs. We cleansed the mucus from his bronchial tubes. Every disease, you could attest to that. Every time you're sick, you have a lot of mucus coming out of you. Sure, because you ate something that brought the mucus. You ate something that we were programmed to eat in the 400 years away from our mama. That's all disease is. It's not time to criticize the Usha Institute, that's WLIB. Well, when they go out there and ask them to see if I could talk on the radio program, they said, have they released him yet? It will be a cold day in hell when I lecture on WLIB again. Never again. You see, because that was insulting their mother. And I have very little to do with people that does those kinds of things, conscious or unconsciously. So here, this man is cured of AIDS. So again, we go back. We gave him substance to cleanse. That is potassium chloride. Potassium chloride dibasic, meaning made by nature. Not mono. Mono is made by man. Anybody here who's a chemist will know that. Am I right? Yeah. Sure I'm right. So we go to the plants and find the chemicals that will cleanse away the mucus as fast as possible, as quick as possible. And then we find other herb that has phosphates to build the system, to give you energy while you undergo this disease state. And then the cells grow back, whether in the liver, whether in the lungs, whether anywhere in the body. So that's all we do, is to cleanse the system and to allow the system to be rebuilt. But in the allopathic philosophy, which is the European medicine, it is to do what? Make pills out of inorganic substance and give you, but the cause of disease is still in you. So you see, isn't that difficult? But it is difficult for them. And now it makes it even more difficult because the whole society, the whole American government depends on those chemical laboratories for huge amount of money. And a black people is going to come and invent medicine from herbs, deprive them of all those billions. Now you know it takes more than a nerve to stand up against a crime and take such a position. But it is necessary. Because my life was at stake. Remember, I was impotent. I was diabetic. I was asthmatic. I was hypertensive. And I was obese. I went to all the doctors. Now what happened? He was a book reader. That's what happened. He read books. See, life doesn't come out of a book. A book is a violation of life. Just to create a book, you have to cut trees down. There's the violation. All right. We don't have to be afraid. We don't have to be afraid. If Sebi, who was arrested a day before I'm supposed to testify in the courts of the United States, downtown Brooklyn, Supreme Court, the Attorney General sent a message to me and said, if I take a misdemeanor, that he would drop all charges. What was he saying to you? Not to me, but to you. He didn't give a damn about you. If I had done that, you wouldn't hear my mouth today. I said, no. This is fisticuff. Win or lose. Because my people are at stake. My race, my step, my being, my family. And I'm supposed to take it's like me going to a Caucasian and ask them to stop being Caucasian. That's an imposition. Or to have the Caucasian race to implement in their world things that belongs to our world. That's an imposition. That's a violation. Give respect. We learn to be obedient. A zebra does not ask a horada, how come you don't have stripes? Nature made him with stripes. It did not make a whole rider with stripes. But they're both equitable. See, we have to begin to understand what it is to be different. Not better, not worse, not superior, not inferior, because you're not inferior to anyone. We just happen to play a unique role. A role that I will explain right now. A bird or plant, you go to get what mineral? You see? Iron. Sure. Meaning that the predominant mineral is iron. But then we go to the dandelion. Or just take the shade grass. Shade grass. What you go to that for? Calcium. It's coded to ingest calcium. So the black race is coded the same way like the plants. Look at the eagle, it eats meat. Nothing gets out. Doesn't eat meat, it eats seed because it's coded. The flower of the burdock is what? Red, purple, and white. But that of the dandelion is what? You see? But which one is better? They both serve their purpose. So what is this thing about? I have to measure up to a white man. Man, I gotta measure up to nature. Right. I'm better. Because right now, we happen to have the ingredients that would maintain harmony and peace on the planet. The black race. Why? Because we hear that the Japanese have the best cars, right? They make the best cars and the best cameras. Well, what do we make? We make the best medicine in the world. The black race again. You see? When we thought that we had nothing to offer, we have the best medicine. We cure AIDS. So who does the world have to depend on now to cure the diseases? The black race. But if you sit in a chair and separate me from you and say that man over there say the cure AIDS, then you know what you just did? Condemn yourself. You have just condemned yourself because I'm you. But look what it would do if we all were to come together and say, well, hold it there now. Since these people at Usha is curing AIDS, isn't it our duty? Isn't it our duty to support that entity? Not me. You're not supporting me. Because hey, I have a piece of land in Honduras that bear you have seen. All I have to do is go sit down on it and drink the water and plant my stuff and sit there. You can't hurt me. But if you negate this entity today and walk up with criticisms, just remember that the criticism is not on us, it's on you. Because there are many people in this. I'm going to show you something. Annette told me one day of a lady here in Harlem that was very sick. And I went to see her somewhere here in Harlem. She's in a bed, can't get up. I gave her the compounds. It took me $25 in the cab to get there, $25 back, or $20 back, which was $40. And my compound, she said to me, how much I owe you? I said, you owe me $250. She said, well, I'm on a fixed income. All I have is $5. I said, I know you're right, but I don't want your $5 because you need that $5 more than me. But how many of these ladies are in Harlem? All right. Are we going to render them useless like the Caucasian has done? All they need is life again, you know. And they need our service. Because the cheese and the chemicals are not going to help those people. They are our responsibility. Those of us that are healthy, they are our responsibility. You understand? Because when we get old, we're going to need you too. We're going to need each other. So how do we rectify this? So I didn't come here to talk about AIDS, because you see how quick we talk about it? You see how quick we talk about it? How do you cure AIDS? So big deal. You see what I'm talking about? It took 2 minutes for Alkaline Bodega. 2 minutes. But NYU have libraries bigger than the building that I occupy and cure AIDS out of. Books on medicine, but in 2 minutes here, we, the son of those African people. African people. I hate to call them that because I don't deal with that, but our parents from that continent, that they call Africa. Right. We are their children. So if with 400 years of eating meat and eating cheese and eating salt, we are able to cure AIDS after 400 years of violation? I mean, look, we have got to be some kind of monsters, isn't it? So we are doing that, the black race. So we have to get back on the business of taking care of ourselves the way we always have. We always did. Nobody could take care of us better than we can. Who could do that? Why would we even put that responsibility on someone else? Why would we even entertain that? I mean, that's a violation. Look at what you're doing. Look at what you are doing. Expecting the Caucasians to help you in your health state? Like these days I've thought about it harder who are sick, who need our help and don't have any money. So how do we rectify that? How do we do that? It's only me and my wife, Annette and Lori and a few others, Marjorie and Judy and a few more. Just few people have taken on the whole weight of this thing. We made efforts, you know. We made efforts to come to you. But those of us who are representing the white entity deprive you of hearing what I have to say. Like, for instance, I was in Harlem, and it was Dr. Prince and Dr. Justice. And they were talking about something that really didn't make sense. They was talking how they were going to make it easier for the AIDS patient to die. You know what I did? I just couldn't take that because that's when my arrogance comes out. I came up and I said, ladies and gentlemen, just stop it. I cure AIDS. Everybody did this. And yes, and so and so and so and so. I said, oh no. Is this really serious? Are they really serious? I just told these brothers and this sister that I cure AIDS. And they write it off like nothing was said. After the case was won in the Supreme Court, Dr. Justice called. Dr. Prince, she called. How I was supposed to feel after what she did. You mean to tell me that the white man had to legitimize what is our ancestors for you to accept it? Is really that? I mean, wait, hold it now. If it's really that, then I'm in trouble. At least I'm yawning. How many are yawning with me? I'm just yawning. I'm not awake yet. Because there's a lot of things I need to do. And there's a lot of things I don't know. But at least the little that we at the Busha family have developed and still developing has complemented a few blind folks who were seeing leukemia, sickle cell who doesn't have it anymore, lupus. Doesn't that deserve your support? So today is not about how we cure AIDS, because black folks always knew that. I met some of you in Louisiana and in Memphis, Tennessee, that know a million things more than I know, but they're just scared. You know, fear? Fear stopped you at the door. You would not open that door. You see? And we found at the Busha Institute, the brothers of us who are part of the members of it, found that the sisters are the one that really are the one with the tenacity. The sisters, the woman. Well, that's understood. That is in the operation of this institute. I am the only male. They make the stuff. They direct the institute. And since I'm talking, and I'm sick of talking, because after you talk, and you talk about talking, then what? You know, I never like, look, I'm gonna tell you the truth, and this is the God in heaven truth. I was never gravitated towards men like the war. Never. I would never think of that. But men like George Washington Carver, yeah, that's the aspect. He was doing something. He wasn't talking about talking. Men like Booker T. Washington, men like Garvey, that's who I respect. About the other talkers and book readers, I mean, we had enough of that, right? I mean, I've been here for 35 years, and we have read all the books there is to read. But we still, after we read the book, we put the book on the shelf. But now we have some work to do. And the work that needs to be done is not in those books. Not one of them. They cheated us, they taught. I know I didn't spend my money. Because like I said, I didn't go to school and I don't read books. See, it costs too much money to occupy myself and my time with this stuff that didn't make sense. I have to do something. We have to do something. We have to heal ourselves. You don't get that in a book. Because if the healing that I'm doing was in a book, or the healing that the Usha Institute have arrived at now was in a book, wouldn't you have the book too? Wouldn't you have the book? I mean, if it was in a book, I'd have to say, but go buy such and such a book. So it came out of what? A history, a people, a gene. Not a book. Not a book. It came out of you, our mom. You understand? Our mom, our mother. And we're going to give that respect. So we hope that when you leave from here this evening, you would make it very simple to everyone else. What did Dr. Sebi talk about? He said that disease is removing mucus from the system. But that's all he said, yeah? All he said. Now, you see, now we've down to basic, isn't it? And after we heal ourselves, all those things that we want to claim we are, that we want to exchange with one another, such as, I'm spiritual, holier than thou, but drinking carrot juice and eating pork chops. Or eating tofu. Tofu's worse than pork. Tofu's 100 times worse than pork. It's going to tear your membranes down immediately. Women get vaginal discharge immediately. If you don't believe me, go eat. Go eat it. You see? We need you. We need you. And you need us. Like, you know how we felt when the African government of Uganda came and sit with us? I mean, that was like, wow. That is where you really feel your usefulness, isn't it? That you're useful to your family. You're not in the position of healing because it is something that you want to relish on. Because most people tell me that some people envy me. But I wish that I could find someone that I envy. In fact, I do envy a man. He's in St. Croix. He does know how to read and write, and he's very healthy. I wish that I didn't know how to read and write because it said that I was less impregnated, isn't it? I was less molested. This man does not know how to read and write. And he don't even, when he receives a letter, he gives it to someone. You want to read that for me? Tell me what it says. And he's not embarrassed. He's using you to read this garbage. Whatever this garbage, it has to be read. So today, the lecture was not really on AIDS, wasn't it? It was showing where we are as a people. Whether we're Muslims, whether we're Christian, whether we're Buddhists, whether we're Shinto, we're brothers and sisters came from the same king of Africa, isn't it? So we have to go back, and now we have the greatest gift. Remember what the prophecy said? That Joseph was taken to Egypt as a slave, and then he became the king? Well, I don't know if we want to be kings, isn't it? Because what does a king do anyway? Sit on the throne. I often wonder, when did it become necessary in the African chronology that we were supposed to be kings? You know, we hear people say, oh, but we were kings and queens. But just a minute, just stop it. Here is a bunch of people made by nature, naked in the forest. And he said naked, not natural, but without no clothes. His balls are hanging, and he's a king. Now, what is it that this king is going to do for us that we could not do for ourselves? So what in the hell are we talking about? The we go around saying that we were kings and queens. What does a king do? I mean, I never thought it. I mean, where it was useful. A king. At least as a healer, if we all become healers in here today, then we could all march back to Africa and say, just go heal mother. And get out of